All right, everybody, welcome back to another edition of the Horseman Pro Football Talk podcast. I'm Brad.
And I'm Jeffe.
And we are the Horsemen. So today we are breaking down the AFC and NFC East divisions. We're going to go through the divisions, teams, positions, and players. Be sure to follow us on your favorite social media platform and find more information at horsemansports.com. Are you ready, Jeffe?
Yeah, let's go, man.
All right, let's go. What do you want to do first? You want to do the NFC East?
Yeah, it's probably right to go ahead and get them out of the way first.
Out of the way. All right. What do you want to talk about first?
This first one, we're going to go ahead and cover the quarterbacks. Probably start with the worst, go to the best in the division.
With the worst, my vote's with the Giants.
Yeah, I think we're going to agree on pretty much this whole list. I also have Daniel Jones at the bottom of this list.
Yeah. It's going to be another long year for New York, isn't it?
Yeah, it seems that way. And not that I don't know if it's going to be Daniel Jones' fault. Daniel Jones certainly hasn't been perfect over the first 3 years of his career. But going into his fourth year, he's already on his third coach, his third system. But Brian Daboll was able to get Josh Allen to get better every year that they were together. And so you would hope that Daniel Jones is able to get better. I mean, this is a guy who is the definition of not having a fair shake. The responsibility for ball control when it comes to fumbles is on him, but also if you protect him better and he's not getting hit all the time, then you're not having him fumble as much. So there's a little give and take there. I just hope that Daniel Jones is able to get better as the year goes on. So they pick up his fifth year option and they go into 2023 with a Daniel Jones that has had better coaching and that is in a better system and is going to have a better team around him, because the team around him right now, the offense, he kind of has the weapons, but will they stay healthy? We don't know. They didn't last year. The weapons on that team have had problems staying healthy for a couple of years. So, it's been tough for Daniel Jones, not completely his fault, but I think with the other quarterbacks in that division, when you're talking about a guy with 21 touchdowns, 17 interceptions over the last two seasons combined, he's got to be the worst quarterback in the division.
Yeah, I agree with everything. First of all, I think ranking him at the bottom is unfair. I mean, it has to be done because of the obvious, but I do like that they brought Brian Daboll in, and I actually think bringing Kafka in on offense was smart as well. So I think those two together, working with Daniel Jones, there's so much experience, and you just touched on what Daboll did, but Kafka comes from the Chiefs under Andy Reid, obviously working with one of the best quarterbacks probably ever played the game before this is over. There's a whole lot of attention being brought in for Daniel Jones, and I hope it works out for him. But as we've seen that a quarterback just doesn't make the team, quarterback staff, an excellent quarterback staff doesn't just make the team either. There's a whole lot of other gaps that we're going to get into here that are going to make or break their season. It's not even going to make or break their season. I expect them to either be one of the absolute worst teams in the league, or be one of the better worst teams in the league, depending on if Jones is able to make strides and pick up some of the slack. He won't get the credit he deserves if they win 6 or 7 games. It'll be because of Jones, and he won't get the credit he deserves. But we'll know, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe if we were doing this next year after the help they brought in for Jones, we'd be talking about the Commanders first. What a shit show, man. The whole organization from top to bottom. I feel so sorry for Washington fans. And even the name change, I'm okay with the name change. I think it was probably overdue. We've seen that with name changes, we've seen it over the years that people get really bent out of shape and then it just goes away. It's not going to be a big deal, but a horrible time to bring this in line with everything else that's going on with Daniel Snyder and Rivera not being able to live up to the expectations for many reasons, whatever those are. I'm not being down on Rivera, just he hasn't lived up to his expectations, and the whole quarterback carousel and then Carson Wentz. I was like, are you kidding me, man? Just what is going on? So What do you think?
I mean, for everything going on in Washington, I gotta say Carson Wentz is like the perfect quarterback for them because you never know what to expect with the franchise. You never know what to expect with the
And it can't
quarterback.
be worse.
Yeah, yeah. So Carson, I last year going into 2021. I would have put him as the number one or two quarterback in the NFC East. But having him here at three, and it's because I got a full season of watching him be my quarterback. I watched every game that dude played, and he went 9-8 and missed the playoffs with a team that had 7 Pro Bowl starters. Okay, so like people think that this shift to Washington, oh, maybe he can find himself. We said all the same things last year. Everything Washington media and fans are talking about, Colts fans and media said last year. And the dude just isn't going to change the way he plays. And because he's not going to change the way he plays, he's going to end up with a career like Fitzmagic. But everybody liked Fitzmagic, It seems like nobody likes this Carson dude,
Right.
And if he just changed the way he played, his when he's on it, he's one of the best in the game. But he makes so many mental errors, and every play has to get downfield. And I think Ron Rivera is going to do what he can to get that out of him, make him hit the checkdowns, because that's kind of how the Ron Rivera systems usually work. You're usually working with a short part of the field. So Carson's going to have to get used to that, but will he change? I don't know. And if he gets injured again, it'll probably be because he's holding on to the ball too long.
Yeah, yeah, and I think I thought Wentz was the perfect guy to fit the perfect short term solution. I didn't expect Wentz. I didn't know what to expect beyond a couple of years, but I thought with the team Indianapolis built, and if you have an above average quarterback, that should have been it. And it wasn't. And it all came down to Wentz in the end. He just didn't make it happen when it needed to happen. It seems to be his MO. There might be, some psychological block going there just when he gets to get successful. He gets in his own head. I don't know. I just know that I defended the guy in Indianapolis, and I'll never defend him again. And, nothing personal, but I was willing to give the guy the shot that I thought he deserved. Bad things happen to people, bad luck happens, and I don't think he's it. So, but you make a good point. I mean, he's got talent, and the thing about Fitzmagic is Fitzmagic stays in Miami a couple of years ago. They might find themselves in the AFC Championship because it was the right time and the right system. And he was playing well, and he didn't come apart at the seams. Wentz may find that groove here. I don't expect them to be in the NFC Championship, but he may find that groove here, and he may have a stellar year. We just don't know, but he's too unpredictable for my taste. All right, so moving up to 3, I think we're going to go with Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, we agree on this one. Also, Jalen Hurts being the second best quarterback in this division. Might not make sense to a lot of people. I could see a lot of people having Carson Wentz up here. Carson had 27-7 last year. But Jalen Hurts, what we've seen from Jalen Hurts is a steady growth. Sort of like a Josh Allen. That's such a hard comparison because Josh Allen got so good so fast. But if Jalen Hurts keeps getting better, he could have comparable numbers to Josh Allen, and his third season maybe even better because Josh Allen, without having Stephon Diggs in his third season, had 58.8% completion percentage, just over 3,000 yards, and 20 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, with an 85.3 QBR. Or sorry, that was his second, Josh Allen's second season. And then when you give Josh Allen Stephon Diggs going into his third season, his completion percentage up by 11, his yards up by 1,500, and then his touchdowns went up by 17. Interceptions only one more, and his QBR also went up by 22 points. So you give a guy like Jalen Hurts with his athletic ability, you give him A guy like A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith going into his second year with the weapons that are there, Dallas Goedert. I really think Jalen Hurts has the pieces and the coaching around him this year and the athletic ability to be able to have a very good season. Will he get to Josh Allen numbers we were just talking about? I don't know. Probably not, if I had to guess, because they run so much in that offense. But you also look to the run game. Jalen Hurts has gotten bigger this offseason. He's going to be more of a force on the field, and he has the wheels to get away from guys. So I think Jalen Hurts, after this season, is going to entrench himself as the number 2 quarterback in this division.
I agree with everything you said, and I also want to mention, I think I get feelings about coaches, and Nick Sirianni has given me the Brian Flores kind of feel goods here. For those of you that think Flores was a terrible coach, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. Go dig a little deeper. Go watch past episodes. He should never been. He was run out of Miami for political reasons before he got a chance to prove what he could do. I think Nick Sirianni. I think he might be the answer for the Eagles. I really do. And I think he might be the answer for Jalen Hurts, coming from Indianapolis. Being under Frank Reich. Frank Reich's a winner. Everywhere he's gone, they've won. It doesn't matter where he's been, they've won. And that's contagious. Nick Sirianni comes out of that system 2 years in Indianapolis running that, and we've seen what the Indianapolis offense has done. So for Eagles fans, this may be the last year of making fun of you, to be honest. You and I differ on that. We're going to get in that a little bit, but you think the Eagles have a remote shot of winning this division, don't you?
I think a very real shot. I think the team around Jalen Hurts. They've made that team around Jalen Hurts very good, and empowering your quarterback is usually good for the rest of the team.
Okay, we don't want any hate mail, but I have the Eagles right around 500.
Wow.
Yeah, and I have the Commanders right around 500. But that's a lot of. First of all, this division sucks. It's terrible. So, depends on what the Eagles can do with the Cowboys, and they might, if they sweep they sweep the Giants and they sweep the Commanders, and they can at least split with the Cowboys. That's 5 wins right there. Boom. So they could they run through their schedule and they pull out another five wins. They're at 10 wins. So I will be the first to admit that I could be wrong. I still don't see them, if all this comes together, because the Eagles might be with Sirianni. It might be one of those where it just comes together right now. And it's next year we're having a different conversation because they are a threat. But I still don't think right now, first of all, I don't think the Cowboys are as good as their fans say they are every year. This is going to be another shit division. But I still don't think the Eagles are ready to replace the Cowboys at the top of the division.
Yeah, that makes sense. They got to go out there and prove it. So that's completely understandable.
Yeah. All right. So Zeke.
Dak.
I'm sorry, Dak. It's time for Dak to put this over the hump, I think. Right? Your talent and your numbers only go so far until you do something with it. And the Cowboys keep coming up short of their expectations, going on 30 years now. Sorry, that was, I couldn't help it. Dak's he's got to step up. Do you think he will?
Yeah, that one's tough for me because, does Dak need to step up? Sure. And when a team doesn't reach their potential, you always look at the quarterback first. But let me tell you what Dak did last year. He had the highest completion percentage of his career last season, the most touchdowns in a season in his career last season. Second highest QB rating of his career was last season. So I think he did what he was supposed to do last year, but I think the team around him has been the issue. It's questionable free agent signings. It's not great draft picks on the defense. And this season, you look at 2022, 2023, 2023, the team around Dak got noticeably worse. He's not going to have Amari anymore. He lost a couple offensive linemen. Dak, I think Dak is a top 10 quarterback in the NFL. I think he has the ability to be. I think he puts up the numbers to be. He's one of the most efficient deep ball passers in the league. And again, I think he's the number one quarterback in this division, the top 10 quarterback in the NFL. Whether or not this team succeeds this year, not going to be completely on him. I think he's going to continue to do his thing and put up his numbers. He's in an offense designed around getting the quarterback a bunch of numbers. And I think they'll be decent because Dak is just that good. But I just don't know if the team around Dak is good enough for him to be able to lead him to the playoffs.
So, you brought up some good points, and then so I pulled some stats while we were sitting here, and I stand corrected. The Cowboys had one of the top-ranked offenses last year, right?
Oh, yeah.
And I did not realize that. I should have looked at this before we sat down today.